As a parent, it's hard to imagine your little ones ever being old enough to start dating, but it's bound to happen eventually.
It can be tough to navigate and set some rules, especially obviously with today's technology. So here to give us some great tips, Kelly Olson with the Village Family Service Center. Welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here.
Yes.
So this is a tough one to breach, and you said you're sort of in the middle of it. So what are you doing specifically to kind of build these bridges?
Well, I think having an open line of communication is a really kind of first good step. And then you got to have some guidelines, you know, what are the typical ages? And we get questions a lot, you know, when do we allow our teens to start dating? And there are some general guidelines, you know, 13 and 14, you're probably going to have a lot of group kind of activities, but certainly under that age, you wouldn't have a lot of solo dating. Because they could be a little developmentally inappropriate and could have your child be engaged in something risky. But as they start to get 15 and 16, you need to start to have that conversation of what does dating look like? How about car dating? What times? When's the curfew? How are you going to set rules and guidelines about where they at and when are they telling you and notifying you when they're changing location, things like that. So having that conversation about when dating is appropriate. But you know, a lot of parents become scared about this topic, but if you think about it, it's an opportunity for us as parents to engage our children in conversations about relationships that if they didn't go through this phase under our care and with our guidance, it would be very difficult for them to start to learn. You know, you don't want your child to be 25 and starting the relationship for the first time. You want them to start to have relationships and learn how to treat people respectfully and with care and consideration and compassion. And you can help guide them by opening up some of those lines of communication early.
It's so much more than just the talk about the birds and the bees.
It is.
Which I didn't even think about. I worried about that. And then as I hear you talk, we know now there's so much more to relationships and dating.
Yes, just about respect and how do you treat somebody, and it's their birthday, so what do you think they're expecting, and how do you think they feel when you did this on social media, and just the impact of all those kinds of things. It's a lot different nowadays when you're in relationships than it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, and all of those things have ramifications, and I think it's important for us to have a role with our children in helping them understand the unintended consequences of some of their actions, because it sometimes does hurt another individual.
I know. You were in the break talking about, you know, maybe the boy is not as sad and moving on and the girl is just devastated. So, I mean, there's differences. Not that boys aren't devastated as well.
No, no.
But there's a lot of emotions, and it's difficult for parents to, you know,
it's
know
very,
what to say.
Yeah, it's very intense, and you know, and as always, you want to make sure that your child is okay and making sure they're doing okay after a breakup, because it's very developmentally appropriate for these relationships to become very serious very quickly. I mean, you can watch it as a parent. How serious is it getting? Is it getting too serious? But it's kind of common. You hear about these kind of intense kind of relationships in high school as they get to be 17 and 18, and just to kind of be cautious of it, watch it, but then also know that if there is a breakup, to keep an eye on your team, make sure that they're doing okay, and have open and honest communication with them. If you've started that communication early, the act of actually having communication when something happens is a little easier. But you know, letting them know about online dating and that they're, you know, not everybody is who they say they're going to be, and how to treat people, and what are the rules about, you know, do you pay? Do they pay? Do they go? How do you navigate those things? And they don't know. It may be their first relationship, and so as a parent, how do you have an open conversation about those kind of things?
And when do you move into that scary conversation? I keep saying the birds and the bees. I'm not trying to be naive, but we talk about relationships and respect, but you also can't ignore that.
There's lots of philosophies about that. I would encourage parents to share your values and be honest with them. Don't be afraid of it, because it's there. So by you not talking about it doesn't mean it's going to go away.
Shoot.
I was going to say.
All right, a great conversation starter, great reminder and eye-opener just for me as a parent as well. So thank you so much for talking about this tough topic with us parents. Thank you so much. All right, coming up on North Dakota Today, we have your cute animal fix. We'll see who's up for adoption at the Homeward Animal Shelter.